So here it is, finally, Love Bites are back. Fami has stepped in as the new bassist after the departure of Miho, and I think a lot of people were really looking forward to seeing whether this would make any change to the sound of the band, how she would fit in, and basically what was gonna come next. And we did get that answer with the song Judgment Day that came out a couple of days ago. Sorry, I have been moving around, haven't been able to post my video, but yet here it is. We're gonna talk about the new Love Bites song. Let's give it a go. Yes, hi there and welcome back to Japan, and first of all let's talk about what this song is, because as I mentioned it's bringing in their new bassist Fami, and they could have really gone in two different directions with this. They could have tried to reinvent the sound of the band, or they could have done something that just sounded like, oh, everything's as per normal, but I think they actually took a nice middle ground with this, in that we all kind of want to hear the new musician. We want them to put forward the new musician a little bit for us to go, what are they like? And this song, I believe, Judgment Day, is actually the titular song off of their new album. I think their album coming out next year is going to be called Judgment Day as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, don't lynch me. We were all kind of interested to hear what that difference would be without losing what Love Bites were. Now, as I say, they kind of managed to achieve both of those things. Now, I was watching the premiere, and the first thing I noticed is when the song first came in, we got that really dark sort of bit. It almost sounded a little bit grunge, where you just had that sort of dirty bass line playing, and it was really broken down, set in the mood as we watched Asami running through the forest, I believe, and you know, it was that whole moody intro. Gave us just a little bit of a chance to hear the bass. Now, she wasn't playing anything complicated, but it was nice. It put her front and center. And then when the song eventually did kick in, it was what we expected from Love Bites, at least a Love Bites single. It was very much that kind of full-on rock that just really hit all the buttons we're used to. We had the fast drums, you know, the fast double kicks, which I don't like every band doing, but as a general, Love Bites deal with quite well and is very well handled by the way that their songs are mixed. You know, they get very rapid double kick, but as a general, it's mixed in a way that each of the kicks sounds distinct. You had that. You had the usual big vocals with a big chorus that had lots of held notes. This is one of the things that really sets them apart, is having those big sort of held note choruses that sound so theatrical, so almost operatic. We had the usual sort of strings, which I'm believing now. I think since I last checked them out, I think that Miyako actually, as well as doing lead guitar, I think she does the string work, as in the keyboard string work, in the studio as well. I think it's her who does that. But there was all the elements that we know and love from Love Bites songs. So it's all there. It's what you expect, but with that extra touch. The question is how does it work? Was it good enough? Well, in short, this song falls into that category that I occasionally come back to talking about, where if you're already a fan of the band, I think you're going to really like this song, because it sounds like them, but it has enough little subtle changes that it sounds like its own distinct song. It would fit beautifully in a playlist of their songs, but without just sounding like repeating some sort of tired formula. If you're not already a fan of the band, assuming you have heard them before, I don't think it's going to necessarily win you over, though. So at this point, you're probably thinking, well, Howard, that sounds a lot like you're saying it's not really that different. Well, this is where we get into that interesting point. It is the subtleties, in that this song does have some nice little things that set it apart. First of all, I like the fact that the riff that they use, the kind of central riff that they often put in their songs, here it's got a nice little da-da-da-da-da-da rhythm. It just kind of, it's on that sort of 4/4 beat in a lot of ways, but it is just the main notes, the chord changes are happening at slightly off-kilter points, so it feels a little bit dramatic, a little bit rhythmically interesting in the riffs. Also, as I say, the intro and the outro having that sort of interesting breakdown to the bass just sets a nice atmosphere around everything. And I do feel that this song has a chorus that is both big and unique. You know, it is very difficult when you have something of a propensity towards big operatic sounding choruses. It's difficult to not find yourself occasionally repeating and people going, wait, that chorus sounds like one we had before. I don't feel like this was the case at all. I think this did feel like a fresh chorus, and I think that it's down to those subtleties. It's down to what you feel about that. As I mentioned, I think that if you are a fan, you will feel that this is quite different. However, if you're not a fan, you're not going to care about those subtleties as much. You're going to see the bigger picture of, hey, this sounds like Love Bites, and that was something I wasn't into before, and I'm not into it now. So this for me was a good one for fans in that sense. Was that just waffle? I'm sure it made sense in my head. Anyway, this brings us on to the big question, really, of what I want to hear next. Well, it's a big question for me, but we will have things that we want to hear from bands next. And obviously they've got an upcoming album with this new member, and you'd expect the first single to, in a way, as I mentioned, both highlight a little bit that, hey, we got a new member, but not to rock the boat so much as to scare off long-term fans. So my real hope is that this is a nice way of warming us up, but that the album, when it comes through, is going to have some music where we feel genuinely like Fami's presence has made an impact on the sound. I mean, LOVEBITES have been around now for a good 6 years, I believe. They've had enough time to drop a lot of material and to really give us a lot of what we want from them, knowing their sound. So now is the time to test the fans, to give them a little bit of a challenge. This is not to say that LOVEBITES don't have songs that are a little bit different from their core sound. Occasionally they do go in different directions. However, I want to hear more of that. And with a new bass guitarist, this is the moment where you've obviously picked, as they did, a bass guitarist from a lot of applicants. Therefore, you're assuming their bass guitarist is going to be capable of many, many sick riffs. Not just sick riffs, but all kinds of things. So when you've got that kind of talent on hand, I want to hear what they do with that. Are they going to do some songs that maybe take advantage of Asami's previous inclination towards more sort of R&B and jazzy soulful singing? Maybe they'll get something like that where it really leans back away from the rock and we get something kind of a bit jazzy, maybe with a little bit of a funky vibe on the next album. Maybe we're going to get them going in a direction where we hear them doing something totally different, where maybe Fami's got some ideas that she wants to just rock out a plectrum and start doing a punk song. Who knows? But I really want to hear her presence having a real impact on the album. As mentioned with this song, it was nice to hear some differences in the way she played. It was nice the way they put her front and center. However, although that was nice, it was very much kind of like a window dressing to at least give you a feeling of freshness on a song that was more about pleasing LOVEBITES fans and effectively doing that very well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this means for the upcoming album, and I really, really do hope that she's been confident in her approach. I'm sure the band have been very welcoming, and that it has had that we hear changes, that we hear some songs on the new LOVEBITES album and think, wow, that's not what I expected from LOVEBITES at all. So that really is my conclusion. But I'm going to do a conclusion anyway. Definitive conclusion. Just covering all the things I said before. If you're a LOVEBITES fan already, I expect you will like this. If you're not a LOVEBITES fan already, you just don't. It's fine. It's not for you. But I hope that everyone will be checking out their new album when it comes out next year. I believe in February the 22nd, I've got written down here. I hope we'll get to check that out. And I really hope to hear something of an interesting challenge for the regular listeners, as well as maybe some interesting surprises for people who are, still trying to find their handle on or some way into LOVEBITES sound. Definitely, though, I enjoyed this and it's got me eager to hear more. So as always, get in the comments to tell me what you think. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one, at least for now. Ciao, ciao.